did. When I was growing up, there was a lot of films that were important, and I'm sure that a lot of you guys are the same. No less so, films like Terminator, Aliens. Now you may have noticed that this gentleman was in both of them. And also with us, we have his very beautiful wife. We have Mr. Michael Biehn and Jennifer Blanc-Biehn.
Thank you for that, but most of all, really thank you for coming out. I really appreciate you coming to see the movie. You'll be the first ones in the area, in Belfast, to ever see this movie. And I think it's a cool movie, and I think it'll be something that'll be like a year or two from now, you can say, you know, I was the first person who saw that in Belfast. And I saw it with Michael, and it's a fun little romp, really. A little piece of, do they call it cotton candy here? I know in England they call it something.
Candy floss.
Candy floss, yes. A little Pulp Fiction candy floss. You know, it's
a naughty movie.
Yeah, I always ask the audience not to take it very seriously, and I always say that if I can keep your mind off your troubles for maybe 85 minutes, then I've served my purpose. It's a little grindhouse movie. It was made in 12 days. It was made for, well, like they talk about the Terminator, for instance. The Terminator was a low-budget movie back in 1983 when we made it, and Jim spent $6.5 million in that movie. This was made for way less than like a 12th of that, and he shot for 11 weeks, and we shot for 8 days, and so this is a real low-budget movie, and but it's a lot of fun. I'm really proud.
To express yourself. We like that.
Yeah. I'm very proud of it because we shot it in such a short period of time. I wrote it, and Jennifer produced it, and we did that during a 3-week period of time. When we found out that we had some money, before that money went away, we wanted to make sure that we got things going in a hurry, so she got the production together. She got all the actors, dealt with the Screen Actors Guild, dealt with the crew and hair and makeup and the crew and all of the locations and all of that kind of stuff. And I wrote during that time, and I wrote it, and I helped her also with locations and stuff. And that took 3 weeks from the moment that we knew that we were going to make the movie. I said, okay, well, I got to write a script, and you start getting the crew together. Until the time we finished the movie, it was 5 weeks, 5-day weeks, and we shot 12-hour days, and we shot. We never went over 12 hours, and we shot 5 days a week, and
you'll see we have a very special end credit sequence. So if you can, stay for that and enjoy it and watch it. It's quite different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, we are pushed for time, but we're going to go ahead and get any questions? Oh, yeah. Right at the back. Oh, it says right at the back. Okay.
Thank you, Biehns, for coming here. I have one quick question. Michael, do you think you should ever be able to do RoboCop versus the Terminator and restart the script from scratch and bring Kyle Reese back into the story from the beginning? Thank you again for coming.
You're welcome. Well, the problem, I would guess, with something like that is that you're dealing with other people's material, and I don't own Kyle Reese, and I don't own RoboCop, and so when, I don't know, by now, I mean, the company actually that made Terminator went bankrupt, and that has gone through a number of different companies that own the company, and who owns Kyle Reese at this point, I don't know. but I think Fox owns it. And so, I get asked a lot of times, like about aliens, people wanting to put Hicks back into aliens, and them having scripts and so on and so forth. And I always have to tell everybody that, I'm really the wrong person to ask, because, I don't have any approval. I can't make anything. I don't own those characters. Those characters are owned by the companies that make the films. But I own this motherfucker. Yeah.
Thanks very much for coming here.
You're welcome.
I just want to ask, out of all the great films you've been in, which are you most proud of and why?
Well, I have, throughout my career, I've played a lot of good guys and a lot of bad guys. And my favorite bad guy is Johnny Ringo, which is, I had a lot of fun with him. I thought he was pretty fucking cool. And my favorite good guy is Kyle Reese from the Terminator, because he was not just this
cool
fighting machine, but he was this lover at the same time. So that made him cool.
Okay, we have another chap jumping out of the seat here.
How you doing, Michael?
Good.
Jennifer, how you? More here?
Yeah, see you.
Do you think that you could have made this movie maybe 12, 15 years ago, or has it been a gradual thing?
No, I don't know. I couldn't have made it 12 or 15 years ago because of the technology of we're not digital cameras and so on and so forth. And I could never. That's what I tell the kids these days. Mostly is like, they ask me about making movies, and I say, well, you can just go out and make them yourself now, because they got cameras now, the 5s and the.
They've got the red wine,
what are the little ones?
5D and 7Ds.
5Ds and 7Ds. And
iPhones.
You can just go out and you can cut stuff yourself, and get on what's the cutting now?
Final Cut Pro.
Final Cut Pro, that kind of stuff. And you can make your own movies now.
But
basically writing stuff.
But regards to experience, would that have been a gradual thing through the years?
Oh no, I think
to direct and.
No, I think that I think I could have done this 10 years ago. I do.
Directing wise. Yeah.
Directing wise, I think I could have done it 10 years.
What directors kind of influenced you, apart from the ones you've worked with?
Well, you know what? When you say influence me, you won't see any influence up there, because I'm just like grabbing shots, When you work, we do 45 setups a day. So that means, I do a shot on you, and then I move the camera close up. That's 2. And then I go on 3, and masters 4. And we're doing 45 setups a day.
But if you guys are movie buffs, there's a lot of nods and winks to different directors.
There's a nod in here too. Well, actually, there's a nod in here to Fincher. There's a little bit of a nod in here to Stanley Kubrick. There's a little nod in here to Jim and Cameron, and Robert Rodriguez obviously inspired me to make this movie, and Quentin Tarantino. That one's very obvious, and also Clint Eastwood is very obvious. So those are guys that I like. I also love Martin Scorsese, and it's hard when you start getting into, there's so many guys that are so good. What's the guy who did The Wrestler?
Aronofsky.
Aronofsky. When I saw his stuff, I was like, totally blown away. And Spielberg to me is, but the one that he did, Spielberg for sure. Spielberg is like, it's just unbelievable. This stuff. I think that. Schindler's List is like in my top 5 movies of all time, and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. There's just so many guys out there that were so good, and I don't think there are as many now as there used to be. The 70s, 80s, the 90s,
Hi, Michael. I was wondering, were you pretty annoyed about being excluded from the idea and concept of Alien 3, and if so, were you pretty pissed off at the way they just cheaply got rid of you? and use your likeness in a picture, and you died in some crash or something? You know?
Usually when people ask me what I think, when people say what did you think about Aliens 3? I say fuck Aliens 3. That's my standard answer. I was at a 25th reunion, and I was there with Jim and Sigourney and everybody, and somebody asked about Alien 3. Yeah. She was like, well. She's cool. She was cool about it. I don't know. Who knows what went down then, but I actually got paid kind of handsomely to get killed off. It's a long story, but I ended up getting paid.
You made them pay for it.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. So it all kind of worked out in the end. And as a matter of fact, I was in like one of the 2 really good ones, and the other 2 are shit anyway. So another one. See, I like Fincher. I don't like him. I like Fincher. I don't like him. Whatever.
Devin was good.
I used to be mad at Fincher, but now that he's such a big star, maybe I'm hoping he'll put me in one of his movies. So now I'm doing like little, you'll see in the opening sequence. You go, well, that looks a lot like some. Anyway, go ahead. Anything else?
Hi, Michael.
Hi.
I was wondering, did you really enjoy working with Bill Paxton again in Navy SEALs and working with Charlie Sheen?
I work with both of those guys. Are fantastically fun to work with. And I haven't worked with Bill since Tombstone, and I haven't worked with Charlie in a long time. Back when I worked with Charlie, man, he was just fun-loving, professional, always there, fun to be around. Thing about Charlie is, I believe, is Charlie did Platoon, and then he did Wall Street, and then he's just been Charlie Sheen ever since, And he's not really, I don't even consider him an actor. I just consider him kind of a personality. Bill Paxton, on the other hand, is a guy that I got to know on Lords of Discipline, which is, he knew Jim Cameron before I knew Jim. And so Bill and I go back, since I was 24 years old, 25 years old, so we go back a long ways. And Bill and I are tight, we're close. I've always, the problem with if you're an actor, you're a successful actor, other actors, it's hard to hang with them because they're always off, in Iceland shooting someplace, and you're always off, on a movie lot someplace. And Bill lives out in where is that? Not Topanga Canyon, but where he lives out further in Ojai. He lives out of town and stuff, so I don't get to see him very often. But we got together for the 25th anniversary and spent some time. And yeah, Bill's a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of fun. And I had a lot of great memories with him, Lance, and everybody from Aliens. Yeah.
Okay, we're getting signal from the back that we're almost out of time, so we'll take one more question. Everybody, if you actually want to speak to Michael and Jennifer in person,
yeah, I wanted to say one thing too. And I'm sorry about this, but I'm like kind of here on somebody else's ticket, and they brought me here, and they've been able to bring me here and let me show you this movie. And they have this show going on, okay? And I go over to this show, and I sign autographs, and I sign pictures, and so on and so forth.
And talk to people, and hang out.
But people have to pay for them. They have to go in and pay money, and I'm not sure exactly what it is, but they have to pay for this opportunity. And those are the people that brought me here. So I'm sorry, but I think it would be unfair, for me to, sign a bunch of autographs or a bunch of memorabilia or anything that you brought. Because if you want to do that, come over to the show. And I'm sorry, but they're the people that brought me here. They're the reason that we're here. And they're the reason that I'm able to show you the movie. So I just think it's only fair to them to do that. So.
But we'll hang out and talk to you and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, after you watch the movie, if you want to do this some more, I'm very happy to answer any, and you might have some questions afterwards too. Yeah, all right, enjoy. I always say, if you don't like fucking, you don't like fighting, you're not going to like this movie.